But this video is literally just for people who are starting out so that you don't get overwhelmed with like what you actually need. Because I know for me, when I was on the other end, I was just kind of like, okay, that's cool, make a video, but like, what do I actually need? Okay, do I actually need to have like 20, 30 makeup brushes? These brushes I have been using for the past 5+ years. 2 categories, face brushes and eye brushes. 3 eyeshadow brushes that you really need. I think you can maybe niche it down to 2 if you can, if you want to. And the face brushes, I feel like in general is what really makes or breaks some of these makeup looks. So the first thing, I mean, my face is moisturized. It is thundering outside. This has nothing to do with makeup brushes. You're just gonna prime your face, whatever primer you prefer. Okay. These are some of the brushes that I have. In front of me right here are just like 6, 7 brushes that I feel like you really need out of all of these. Some of these are just kind of like, if your makeup brushes are all dirty, you could just use that. The first brush that I'm going to use, that I use for foundation and just like, you know, the blurring balm from Danessa Myricks, you probably seen me use it before. This brush right here, it is the e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. When they say it's the ultimate, like this brush, I feel like it's an amazing brush for using for your powders. You can use this brush for powders, you can use it for foundation, but usually, as you know, or if you don't know, for liquids and stuff, you want it to be dense, but I feel like this is a really good in-between, especially for the blurring balm. So I'm just gonna show you, because I'm gonna do a little bit more of a full coverage look today, just so you can see how it's looking. But with foundation, you might want something a little bit more dense, but I feel like this gets the job done. So, you know, I'll show you how this works with the blurring balm. You know, just swivel a little bit. As you can see, I'm hitting the pan. It's almost been a year, so it's kind of time. Just a little bit, and this is how it looks on the brush. And then I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see how this applies to my face. See that? And then you can still use the stippling motion. But I love using this brush. Like when I'm in a hurry, I love using, see that? This is what I do. When I'm in a hurry and I'm just like trying to just do like a quick look. So I feel like if you are a person like in general, right? See how most of it's already coming off or whatever, but this is just like really, really good for using like a quick, maybe like a tinted moisturizer of some sort. Look at that. Just gone. I just feel like it doesn't make any sense for me to be using this as a blur balm and then using another foundation brush and using another brush for liquid. So I just kind of keep it simple if you're trying to be minimalist and not have like a bunch of like brushes. The same thing you use, you could just use this for like foundation. And honestly, you could be done. You could put mascara on, you could put a little blush, you could put a little, and then you're out the door. So this could be your whole look, honestly. If you're one of those people, you could stop right here. You can stop right here where you just use this for like, you know, BB cream, CC cream, whatever kind of cream. And then we'll get to the powders because you definitely want to lock any kind of like liquid or, you know, tacky thing that you put on your face unless you want it to evaporate. And of course, anytime you want full coverage, you want to use a tapping motion. We're going to jump into the eyes. I think we're going to use some color just so you can see what you can do. But I think if you watch my videos enough, then you know that I like tend to just, you know, whatever. But anyway, so we're going to jump into the eyes, okay? And we're just going to prime our eyelids for eyeshadow. If you do not wear eyeshadow, you can honestly just stop right here. You don't, it's good to have like at least 1 to 3 eye brushes, like your go-to. So you can like, you know, be able to be flexible with the looks that you do, right? That's the point of like wearing makeup is you can go from daytime to nighttime real quick by just one simple color, especially in this situation. So here, hopefully the lighting is okay. Sorry. Anything, this might just be like the one brush that you just need and that's it. And then that's the only eye brush that you have. If you're not crazy into wearing like eyeshadow like that, is the Morphe M505. I think they're still in business. It's tapered like this. And I do want to give like a little bit of like a shout out in some way to Jaclyn Hill. Jaclyn Hill, she still has all of her videos up. If you really want to go into like details of like how to create certain eyeshadow looks, her old tutorials are so informative. That's how I learned how to do eyeshadow because she was a huge Morphe person, as we know, but like really good at explaining all of these. So I got most of my learning knowledge from that because she'll say using the window whatever, wiper motion, whatever you call it. So anyway, this brush is like super fluffy, as you can see. it's like super tapered. It's like round like that. So this brush, I would say, is really good for, so if you're trying to go from like everyday kind of makeup look real quick and you just want to warm up your eyes a little bit and your eyes got lost with like the foundation or whatever you just put on, bronzer, finding your bronzer shade and just tapping lightly into this, right? I'm not even gonna put a lot, and just like blending it in. See, I'm just like doing this and then forward, this and then forward. And I'm holding it closely so I can have more control. I am not a professional. I feel like I have to say this. I am not a professional. This is just like what I've been doing for years. And this brush, as you can see here, it's like, let's zoom in a little bit. So yeah, I'm just tapping a little bit. This is actually not the makeup look that I'm doing, but I just want to show how great this makeup brush is, just really good for that kind of stuff. So I'm just doing this. See that? And you just warm it up to what you want, to what you want it to be, okay? We're gonna jump into, you know, a different kind of makeup brush and the different things that it can do. This is a bit more on the pricey end. This is you can find different versions of this, I'm sure, but this is the Sigma Diffuse Crease, so aka the E38. See that? So this is the E38, and this is what it's look like. So it's more like narrow. It's not as tapered as the other Morphe brush that I just showed you, but this is what it's looking like, right? And so I'm actually gonna create kind of like a halo eye look. I think that's what it's called. And so you can use this eye brush to get in there. Like if you want, you can, like, for example, we used a bronzer and it was higher up. If you really want to define your crease like a little bit more, you can use a tapered brush like this to like get in the eye sockets, right? So you can use a darker color than you had as the bronzer to really brush it in here to like darken up your crease. But that's a whole other video about like how to do eyeshadow, but I'm sure as you get more comfortable. But this brush is really good for that, to like really just, you know, define your crease a little bit more. But you can also, which I'm about to do, use this to create more of like a little halo look. Let's use Big Wig and just kind of like pack it on the outside. So part of this look is that I saw was just packing it on the outside and packing it in the inside. Literally, it's like right here and right here. So I'm literally just taking it, right? Just taking it, patting it in, and I'm not swiping, I'm just packing it in. And this could be a conversation of if you wanted to, you could get a flat top brush if you wanted to, or you can just stick to this brush. But if you don't mind, like, you know, there are some like flat top kind of like brushes if you want to use that. So I'm just kind of like slowly bringing it up to the crease because I don't want it to just be like, you know, looking like I got punched in the eyeball. But I'm just kind of like, you know, doing that. It's like this, like this. I'm gonna do the inner corner. I'm not gonna swipe as much because when you swipe, you kind of like diffuse a little bit. You kind of getting rid of product. This is such an easy eye look. I saw it and I was like, I forgot that this looked so easy. And then you just add a shimmer in the middle. So I'm just gonna grab like a shimmy shade. Usually people would do like a gold shimmery shade, but I want to personally use a golden like shade. So I think I might do Trust Issues because I feel like that's what it's giving. So I'm gonna do Trust Issues in the center. See that? Oh, stunning. And I'm kind of doing this back and forth so that it doesn't look just like one line, right? We don't want it to look like one line. Go back in if we want to like tie the colors in a little bit, right? We can still use this brush to kind of like soften out what we just did a little bit. It's kind of like angling out a little bit, but just kind of like, I'm not bringing it too high up because I don't want it to look like I got punched in the eyeball. I'm just not. So I'm taking a little bit more Big Wig with the same brush, the E38. And there are so many different versions of this brush too. Like, but I feel like having a brush like this that is super like tapered up like this, you know, that way, come on, crusty nose. But anyway, it's tapered up like this. That way you're able to focus a little bit more on the details. And obviously you can get more detail with these looks. But again, this is more of like trying to work with what we got without having to use without having to use like multiple brushes. We just use 2 eye brushes to create this along with our fingers. Let's put on the rest of our face, right? Sorry if y'all heard the honks. Okay. People just don't know how to act when it rains. I don't understand. It's just like, anyway. So we're gonna put on some foundation and we're gonna go in with the same brush that we used. And this is the Ultimate Blending Brush. When they say it's the ultimate, like this brush is really good. I'm just doing 1 pump. So I'm gonna take it off. But just like, see that? It's just really good. I like it. I think it blends really well. Not Ulta, oh my gosh. There are more like flat top brushes. I just didn't really include it in this list because they're either too expensive or they just, I don't even know the brand anymore. But I feel like this Ultimate Blending Brush is really, really good. So you could get a kabuki or a brush like this, like super dense. But I feel like for some reason I have more versatility when it comes to like the Ultimate Blending Brush. But that's just me and like my preference. So I just tend to just go towards the, I just love this is the one that if I'm rushing, I'm doing anything, I grab this. And we're gonna do a little bit of concealer. And so this is the part where it's like, I totally forgot too. It's like, what do you blend out your concealer with? Some people use a beauty blender, so that could replace a makeup brush or like a tool. Some people use, their fingers. It's all depends on like what you prefer. So you just have to figure out what works for you. Recently though, I've been using a makeup brush. Like I'm like going old school when it comes to blending out my makeup brush. This does not count in the list, but I've been using this e.l.f. brush, right? Going back with e.l.f. And this is their putty bronzer brush. It looks just like this. It's super small. This is what it looks like. It's super small. And yeah, I just like using it. I'm not gonna let my concealer like, sit too long, even though I do prefer it to be in, sit longer, but I gotta eat dinner. I'm hungry. So just blend it underneath a little bit. These days, thankfully, I don't have any bags under my eyes. Anybody excited for fall? I was Googling, I was like, when is fall actually? Because people acting like after Labor Day, it's like fall. It's like, no, ain't no way. I'm sure for parents, it's like, yeah, like it's official like fall season. But for me, I'm more of like, no, like I'm not in school anymore. So for me, it's like, when is like the official day for fall? That's what I want to know. And then lo and behold, it's September 23rd, I think. It's like the first day of fall. So my birthday is the 14th. I knew I wasn't a fall baby. I know how people say it, that's like fall, but yeah. So I just like wanted to clean that up. So you could do that too, just getting a concealer, just like, cleaning that up to make it look more professional. And this is where we get to setting, okay? And there are 2 things or 2 ways that I usually set my face. So I know sometimes in videos I'll use the contour kit, like that setting powder. I always sometimes use that, but then sometimes I'll use a powder. It depends on my mood. But today I think we're just gonna set with a powder. So I use this Real Techniques, yes. So I'll use this Real Techniques makeup brush, and this one is really good. It's angled. You can get under the eye and you can use it for powder. I use it for highlighter. So if I'm like in a rush, that's what I usually do. I use it for powder and like setting powder, or I use it for like under eye setting, and then I'll sometimes use it for highlighter, which I don't really use highlighter anymore. It depends on my mood, but yeah, so I usually just do that to set my under eye. I'm just pressing into that. And then we're gonna go to our Flawless face brush. This is the best, I'll let y'all see it for yourselves, but the best brush for just like setting all over. When you're in a hurry, once again, this is for in a hurry or when you're not, I love using this thing. Y'all see this? Like, look at that. Just covers all your bases. Like a little light powder, a little dust. Y'all see me use this multiple times, and I just love this freaking brush. It's so soft and it just feels nice on the face. But I'm not gonna put too much because I don't want to emphasize certain spots on my face. But this is what I usually use. And bam. But then I also use it as a bronzer. So I'll usually use this to bronze my face. But I forgot, one thing I forgot was that my ultimate, so besides using, because this is part of the 7 brushes I think that you need for a whole makeup look in general, including eyeshadow. So I use this, right? This right here, this Real Techniques brush is amazing. I love this thing. So when I was talking about using more of a dense brush, you can definitely choose to use something like this for foundation. It is so nice. Like, I love this thing for foundation. I've had it for maybe 3 years now, 4 years, and I love this. If you want more full coverage, you know, obviously, you know, it's dense, it's super soft, and I've used this for a really long time, and the quality is good. We know we love Real Techniques around here. I don't think I really use, when I'm in a hurry, I'm using the e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush, but that's just me, because just like, it just covers more ground, right? It just covers more ground because it's like, you know. Let's put on some mascara and just see where that goes. See if we want to put on. Oh, mascara is cute. So I was applying mascara off camera, and of course I blinked, like literally. Look at this, but I feel like it kind of works a little bit. Y'all see this? Oh my gosh. So I think we're gonna work with what we got and just use, because I don't feel like getting up and getting a Q-tip and all that. So I'm just gonna grab the same brush that we used for the purple, and just kind of like bring it down, I guess. Just kind of like, you know, bring it down under here to make it a little bit more smoky. So I'm just gonna go back under here. And it's still like small enough, right, where it can still fit under here. Because I feel like any brush that goes underneath, if it goes past a little eye socket here, then it's a no-go. Just gonna brush it here lightly, dusting the color purple. And this will look really good with lashes. I'm just not in the mood to put on lashes today. And I'm just gonna go in with a blush. So now with blush, I'm basically gonna go in, which is kind of like, it's like, I don't know, it depends on what kind of makeup wear are you. Are you the kind of person where every single brush needs to have their own? Because if I'm in a rush or I'm just doing my makeup or whatever in general, then I'll usually go in and just use like the Ultimate Blending Brush for blush. Yeah, I'll usually do that. And usually that helps with like toning down the blush because of the fact that my complexion product was on it already. So I'm just gonna go with like a cute little blush. Right, just go in lightly over the nose. Apparently we kind of stopped doing that. A little bit into the temples, as Jackie Aina has said to do. And this is just kind of like, you know, without feeling the need. If you want to, you are definitely free to go and like, you know, buy another brush for blush. You know, I have a blush brush 100%. If you're interested, I can tell you what I usually will use sometimes. This is the e.l.f. Angled Blush Brush. So yeah, I have one. It's not like I don't have one, but the point of this video is just kind of like, you know, hey, you don't need like 30 makeup brushes to do a whole full face. So, but I feel like this is really good for beginners and for folks who are just kind of like, you know what, can I throw away a couple of these brushes? You know, we can go in with a little bit of shimmer. Like, I guess we can, but I don't really want to add highlight. But I will say, I think I mentioned it already, the Real Techniques 442 brush. It's a multitask cheek brush. This brush is really good for highlight and just putting it right here at the highest points of the cheeks right here. So I love just like adding a little bit right here, because sometimes you don't want the brush to be too angled so that it looks like you placed it right there. You want it to look a little seamless. So I actually love this brush for just adding it in the right spots. You know what I mean? But this is in the nose a little bit. So I really love this. Now, the last brush I will be talking about, part of this like, you know, video is, this is kind of like I don't think it's really necessary. Maybe not, I'm not sure. But this is more for like, okay, all these brushes kind of do the same thing. You are creating the look. This one is more of like, okay, I did this look, but now I want to do a little bit more of like a small little detail, clean up a little bit. This is the E36, the Sigma E36 brush. This brush is really good when it comes to just like, as you can see, it's like super tapered. You can use it for highlighter right here. If you want to highlight the inner corners, you can use it for cutting the crease even more if you want to, or you can like highlight the brow bone. I mean, there's so many things you can do with this brush. There's no, like, you don't have a limit when it comes to using this brush. This lighter shade right here, it's like, and just kind of like lightly dust right here. See that? See that? It's like that small little detail that just really just like opens up the eyes a little bit more. Oh my gosh, I feel like a fairy. I look like a fairy. So pretty. And I barely like tapped, but I'm gonna like, you know, right here. Right here. That is so pretty. Oh my gosh, and we're done. We are done. I feel like this look would also be really cute too if you were to kind of like use this like rose gold like under here to really open up the eyes. I feel like it would really complement the eye look. That's so pretty. But yeah, so let me see if I can fill in the rest of my eyebrows so that it doesn't look like it's running away from the other one. This is the look. I really hope this was super helpful for you all. Let me know if you like these detailed videos. I actually really loved filming this. I have been wanting to do this video for so long, honestly, just because of the fact that like those videos, it's like, at least when I was watching YouTube, you know, it was a lot of them are just kind of like, all right, let's just dig right into it. But I feel like for me, I'm like, okay, but what do we actually need? Okay. Because nobody needs like 20 makeup brushes unless you are a makeup artist and you do some kind of freelance work, in my personal opinion. But then again, if you want to have a lot of makeup brushes, then nothing wrong with that. Like I still kept most of the brushes that I've had for the past like 5-8 years now. They've lasted a really long time. I guess the main pro is that you don't have to wash your makeup brushes as much because you already have like 2-3 versions of one of the makeup brushes, right? Like I have like so many brushes. I have like about like 4 or 5 makeup brushes that I use specifically for putting on like liquid foundation, you know? So because of that, I don't wash my makeup brushes as often because sometimes it's hard to just wash your makeup brushes the same day. But there are definitely lots of different variations, like cheaper variations of makeup brushes that you can get. But hopefully, you know, I feel like 7 brushes is enough for someone who is just trying to do like an everyday quote unquote clean girl makeup and then like a full face like this. You know, I feel like it's possible to do a full face. Like I said, if you try and do the whole like, you know, artistry Halloween makeup, this is not it, obviously. But this is just like a place to start, I feel. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and happy fall. And please remember to take care of yourselves. If you're like me, you suffer from seasonal depression. I know for me, I'm getting into cozy vibes, right? I'm finding out ways to care for myself during this season. I'm finding ways to hibernate because I know for me, I'm gonna hibernate. Like I'm in hibernation mode. I'm looking at like, for me, I'm looking at crock pot meals. I know, like I'm looking at crock pot meals to cook. I'm looking at ways to care for myself because I just don't have as much energy in the fall and winter time. And that keeps me going is during the holiday seasons and like Halloween, Thanksgiving, and all these different holidays coming up, and then December, and then once January hits, it's like, okay. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next video. Bye.